भीख मांगना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली में आके somebody has to come from Manipur and भीख मांगना पड़ेगा. Is that what they wanted to tell the Manipur? Come and bend on your knees and plead us, that talk about us. Is that one? Remember that. Humiliation in historically, people responded it, and the consequence is never going to be good for us as a country. I will not allow my people to beg. We will not beg. I get deeply offended. There's a difference between getting hurt and getting offended. मणिपुर को औकात दिखाना है, मणिपुर का एमपी को औकात दिखाना है, मणिपुर का प्रजा को औकात दिखाना है. How would you feel if the Indian map is going to be presented by the government of India by carving out the northeast or Manipur from that map? We will not beg. I don't think, none of the Manipuris will beg. Modi, we are behind you. Yes, it should be excluded. औकात दिखाना पड़ेगा मणिपुरी लोगों को. इस देश में उसका जगह क्या है? That is what the message is today.
Kaujan thi da ko khoi he mai tei hawa ba hogi ba sing ning ba ta ba ni khoi matung da wa da na ba ni ngasi khoi na wari se ngasi khoi na wari ba ngasi nungai ra ba nungti gi function da na program ta na mayang ga wa nok na ta na leiram ga da live chief minister gi from da gi ngasi wa na khang se mirol tungi mirol safety we hong na bi da khalu bu da gi ni ai jo du khan na nungai leiram ga di sei darai matung da kari we rang ne khoi sei trawai matung da khoi kari we rang ne can anyone predict no ngam do sai di predict to ngam me adu u da ina risks loris. Someone has to take risks for the future generation. Someone we are taking, our team is taking that initiative, that risks. Adu da ninga sai dosata banate no you become the heroes. Zati ki damakta leba ki damakta Bharat makeup thole hana lana lorum mani United Nations da Bharat ki report yengo Northeast India da ngasi thoiba issue se irang se karigino haiba kanda United Nations da hana sandom mayam do loina takra kanda influx and drugs. United Nations people report ne Bharat ki stand very clear, not only in Indian Parliament. Akoi na hairu bunate ado airline permit ti ngasi tanaru busu tawde rally to busu tawde hunger strike to busu tawde Prime Minister Modi ji ne pirakhreba ada hada bhotna NRC satna ba yaro yabe the vote pitokhrebe khoi so aina labra mina lamra khangde ko ai interpretation ni wani ILP pira iba sab emulation tawdana demand tawrga laiba madugi implement tawba horiba NRC sanan ba honana bugi damakta biometric logdana eye scanning logdana deport tawba horiba Prime Minister Modi ahumlok sunaba thagachi haibda di vote pi de aduga NRC yaroi haiba kambu de vote pi krieba akoi praja su sawbu khitang thumandro haibani daina haibadi pen da baisi akoi ne pen da ingarang haibani khong khut pullaga iroi bu kana na iroi bangam godra ne mangam salam godra. But in the larger interest of the state, in the larger interest of the nation, madugi khang batabani duni khang ise maramdi Bharat Sarkar ki intention da Manipur inchi makai bi wapam leite inchi se thajabe adu madai ai Bharat Sarkar ki mahut silka chaw na ngam ngam simad. It
is the saddest part when the country's prime ministers don't care about thousands of people, suffering, and he was one of those guys who said that we must remember partition. And Manipur is suffering that kind of a partition now, and 60,000 people languishing in relief camps. And widows and mothers who have lost their sons and husbands, sisters and brothers. He said, give a damn. I wouldn't mention. You do whatever you want. You want to shout on the floor of the house, the temple of democracy in this country, I give a damn. I will show you, Manipur, where you belong. That's what he was trying to do. And that's what I get the information. This is unfortunate. And it is very sad, and I get really, really offended now. But initially, I was hurt in earlier, but today I don't get hurt. But I'm telling you, I get offended. I'm deeply, deeply offended. And it's okay if the country's prime minister wants to act like this. It is his choice. But as a public figure, rest of the country and his colleagues must also think, is it legitimate to ignore and to treat the state of Manipur like this, to humiliate in Manipur like this? I think let his conscience answer as within quote nationalist and the leader of our country as the prime ministers. I think I'll leave. But what we as citizens, ordinary citizens, have to do for our own suffering, we will do it. And this humiliation and this treatment, I hope you will have your own answers. People will give their own answers in the days to come. How would you feel if the Indian map is going to be presented by the government of India by carving out the Northeast or Manipur from that map? How would you feel? They would be screaming, right? People would be screaming, and this is exactly what they are doing. It is excluding Manipur, and that kind of a Rashtra Chetna, that kind of a national consciousness is deeply, deeply troubling for me, and that is why I was trying to understand. That's what I was reminding. Manipur is the 19th state of this country. It is a state of the union. And there are citizens there. They are suffering. There are 60,000. It is not joke. I was trying to remind the House because it represents the people of India. I am not there. I am a representative of a certain portion of the population in this country. We all come from different parts of the country, representing us as we. And this we is excluding by a particular nationalist imagination. And they're saying that we give a damn to what happens in Manipur. I wouldn't talk about it. You scream whatever you wanted to do, say whatever you wanted to. And people will say, Modi, 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 we are behind you. Yes, it should be excluded. औकात दिखाना पड़ेगा मणिपुरी लोगों को इस देश में उसका जगह क्या है. That is what the message is today, and I will be reminding them again and again that it is the 19th state of India and how it has become a part of India. There's a history behind it, and there are people who fought for this country. That is what I was reminding those who died in Afghanistan. Foreign soil, bomber, suicide bomber trying to protect India's interests. Just as Major Nangom Joy Datta died fighting hand to hand in Jaffna, in October, if I remember, it is in the month of October in 1987, he was giving cover fire to the para, and I think 13 Sikh light or something. He was fighting with his Gurkha. He was in Gurkha regiment, and those people and then their sports stars who have been carrying the tricolor in international platforms. There are cultural icon like Aribam Sham Sharma and Ratan Thiam, who was the Sangeet Natak Academy chairman. All these people, do they matter in this country? And if they do matter, how come the 60,000 of their fellow citizens suffering in that state and you don't want to talk about it? What does it speak? This is not for our prime minister to answer now. I think it is the rest of the country, people in the rest of the country must ask, including my colleagues from the BJP, keep their hands on their heart and ask them, is it right for us not to talk about Manipur? Is it right for the prime ministers to keep silent? And will you still support this particular thing simply because it is your boss? Or would you have that Rashtra Chetna's own conscience and say this is something is wrong with us? We should be talking at least one line. भीख मांग के बोलना पड़ेगा एक दिन तो उसको. भीख मांगना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली में आके somebody has to come from Manipur and भीख मांगना पड़ेगा. Is that what they wanted to tell the Manipur? Come and bend on your knees and plead us, that talk about us. Is that one? Remember that. Humiliation in historically, people responded it, and the consequence is never going to be good for us as a country.
Professor Akoijam, आप भीख मांगने देंगे? Would you let Manipur beg before
No,
Delhi
I won't.
for its
I will
right?
not allow my people to beg. We will not beg. We will remind. There's a difference between reminding and begging. I will not beg, and I will not ask my people to beg. I will be against anybody who's trying to beg. I don't think, none of the Manipuris will beg, I can tell you. We have a
You-
historical decades behind us. We may be a small part. We may be a little over 3 millions in 1.4 billion population in this country. But remember that Indian Constitution allows us to be equal citizens. Whether you are a Tamil or a Maratha or a Punjabi or a Bihari or a UPI or Orissa, Bengal, Assamese or Manipuris, we are all equal in the eyes of the constitutions. And this kind of an insult, a deliberate insult, I think the rest of the country must be asking constantly. I don't think it is the duty of the Manipuris to do that. It is the duty and the responsibility of every citizens and every community in this country to raise this question.